Foreign policy expert and editor-in-chief of the Foreign Desk, Lisa Daftari. Also with us is the director of the Center for National Defense, Robert Greenway. Welcome to you both. Robert, I want to begin with you. In your opinion, is Team Biden worried about the hostages, or are they really worried about the Palestinians?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, but I think they're concerned about what's going to happen when inevitably Israel conducts a ground assault into Gaza, which it must do to destroy Hamas. And when they do, I think they fear the repercussions. And they've been trying to avoid conflict since they came into office. And ironically, they've found one.
Right. No, the conflict found them. You know, Lisa, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton says Biden's aid package is dead on arrival. He said in a statement, quote, "We will not spend, for example, $3.5 billion to address the potential needs of Gazans, essentially functioning as a resupply line for Hamas terrorists." But here's Secretary of State Antony Blinken defending that aid package.
We know that if we let would-be aggressors act with impunity, whether it's a state like Russia, whether it's terrorists like Hamas, we open a Pandora's box for other aggressors around the world to try to get away with the same thing.
Okay, so Lisa, hasn't that box already been opened thanks to Democrat weakness in the Biden regime?
Absolutely. And I don't think throwing more money towards these issues will fix it. Actually, it'll get worse. A lot of people also believing that it's not fair to use Israeli children as guise to get 60 billion more to Ukraine and to the point of getting money to the Palestinians. Every dollar that we have sent to the Palestinians, whether it was to the Palestinian Authority for their pay that were they used for the pay to slay program, where they were actually pay families whose loved ones went and killed themselves in suicide bombings, or to Gaza, which of course is being ruled by Hamas. We're giving money to terrorists. That's exactly what is happening here. I think it's very disingenuous of President Biden to go and give his support to Israel, to the Israelis, to Bibi Netanyahu, and then in the same breath say that they're sending money directly to Hamas.
Right. There is no way that you can say, well, this is for the Palestinians, and there's no way you can, once it's in theater, that you can stop it from going to aid terrorist activities in the region. Robert, you know, back here at home, there were nearly 270,000 illegal alien encounters in September at our border, breaking the record for highest monthly crossings and bringing the fiscal year total officially to 2.48 million, even though many speculate it's far more than that. And CBP is warning that encounters with individuals on the terror watch list, they are skyrocketing as Hamas and Hezbollah and Islamic Jihad fighters take advantage of the Democrats' open border down south. I'm sure the American people are concerned about this, but it seems their alleged representatives in Washington aren't concerned at all. We, the people, can we afford to have our politicians be this divorced from our safety and the will of our people?
No, we can't. And I'd say, look, first, we've lost 31 Americans, so that makes us participants, not observers. Second, you're right to point out the problem with the open border. We've had 150 individuals on the terrorist watch list identified in the last year, which is an all-time high. We had 0 in 2019, for example, and over 600 Iranian special interest aliens since 2021. This problem is here, and the demonstration on college campuses and in many major cities are meant to send a message that we are here and could be operational. Violent protests or other activity could ensue if the situation in the Middle East escalates. It's a problem we've let inside our house. We've got to clean it up.
Right, illegally and through the visa system, too. It's a conspiring against the safety of our people that Washington, D.C. and the incompetence of Washington, D.C. has allowed to happen. Lisa, the State Department, speaking of incompetence, sent out this on X, quote, "We denounce anti-Semitism. We denounce Islamophobia," end quote. First, the Democrats refuse to condemn their Jew-hating members by name. But you say this is sad that our State Department has to try to condemn opposition to funding terrorists with a charge of Islamophobia. Explain.
Right. Exactly. It's not Islamophobia to call out Hamas. And it is so conflating of the narrative to say that when we have a Jew hatred problem, meaning 60% of hate crimes in this country are against Jews, only about 7 million Jews in this country. I mean, how many millions, or I should say billions of Muslims are there around the world? What is the percentage of hate crimes? Look, hate crimes shouldn't be against anyone. There shouldn't be Islamophobia. There shouldn't be anti-Semitism. There shouldn't be any of that. But at this moment, to not be able to say stop anti-Semitism without mentioning Islamophobia is extremely dangerous. And it totally goes down the middle, as they have been doing with the narrative, going back and forth, making this equal. Today, John Kirby at the briefing had a very hard time explaining to journalists. If you came from the moon, you would think these journalists are a room of Hamas supporters. The way that they were questioning him had to keep doubling down on this narrative that the Israelis are the victims here.
Right. No, it's absolutely true. And folks, for the record out there, if you oppose radicalized Islamic fundamentalist terrorism, that doesn't make you an Islamophobe. That makes you a terrorist phobe, which the last I checked, U.S. State Department, is a good thing to not support terrorism. Lisa Daftari, Robert Greenway, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate the time.